Assalamu alaikum. I greet you with the greeting of peace used by Muslims and seekers of peace across the globe. My name is Najiba Akbar, and I serve as the Muslim chaplain here at Tufts. Tonight's theme of peace and light speaks deeply to my soul in so many ways. As my offering for tonight, I wrote a poem that's in conversation with a verse about divine light from my holy text. I'll start by reading a few verses from the text, from the chapter in the Holy Quran entitled Al-Nur, which means the light. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most merciful, the ever merciful. God is the light of the heavens and the earth. The parable of his light is as if there were a niche, and within it a lamp. The lamp enclosed in glass, the glass as it were a brilliant star, lit from the oil of a blessed tree, neither of the east nor of the west, whose oil is luminous, even if untouched by any fire. Light upon light, God guides whom he wills to his light. God sets forth parables for people, and God knows all things. Ameen. And now I'll offer you some words from my spirit inspired by these verses. My poem is called Light Upon Light. Light upon light, God speaks to us in metaphor. If we listen closely, we may find that our spirits cannot help but soar. We seek his light, searching above and below. Yet if we were only to look inside, our cup would surely overflow. Light upon light, searching for the brightness, to the external world we flee. But what if this light was in you, was in me? What if the light being spoken of, the only light that can fill that deep gaping hole, is in fact the spark of divinity in the human soul? Your soul, my soul. What if it's the light within us that truly makes us whole? Light upon light, we have a lamp within, we are told. In fact, our book reminds us we were created from the best of molds. But what of the days when I struggle to see the beauty in you and the divine in me? It's sometimes hard on a cold winter's night to feel the warmth of that brilliant light. So here in our chapel on this cold night of December, I invite you to look inward and remember that light within that never ever dims. I invite us all to be present to this light within, the light from which our stories all begin. I invite you now to take a moment and turn to your neighbor who's sitting next to you. Turn to your beautiful neighbor to your right or left and witness the light that emanates from their eyes. Just take them in for a moment, and you can scoot over if you need to find a neighbor. Now I invite you to look into your neighbor's eyes and repeat after me. I see your light. It shines bright. I see my light too, reflected in you. I greet you tonight with greetings of peace and light. Thank you.
Thank you, Najibu, for your warm poem. That was so awesome. I heard about it, but thank you everyone for coming and joining us for Pax et Lux, a multi-faith celebration. We are so excited to share this evening with you. My name is Luna.
And I'm Lena, and we are Interfaith Ambassadors with the University Chaplaincy. In lighting the first lantern of many this evening, we hope to begin kindling a calm sense of warmth and a capacity for wonder. We have spent the last few months reaching out to members of our Tufts communities and asking them to share stories, songs, and traditions that arise for them this season, emphasizing the themes of peace and light that are woven through our many cultures and faiths.
Peace and light reveal themselves everywhere, from stunning performances to communal art to warm food. Gathering together in shared spaces of celebration, we uplift our commonalities and deepen understandings of our differences. In cradling our intellectual community and our cherished traditions, we weave our shared campus together. We embody the light on our hill.
We are so glad you are here. Without further ado, we welcome Tufts Chamber Orchestra. Yay. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming tonight. My name is Justin, and today my friends Aiden, Logan, and I will be performing 2 short songs for you. First is A Child is Born by Thad Jones, and then My Favorite Things by Rodgers and Hammerstein from The Sound of Music.
everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm Zoe.
And I'm Eli.
And we're from the Buddhist Sangha, or the community here at Tufts. The timing of the celebration is actually pretty perfect because yesterday evening we observed Buddha's Enlightenment Day. in which we celebrated the realization that the sage Siddhartha Gautama experienced after meditating deeply under the Bodhi tree. After he attained this enlightenment and started teaching others, he became known as the Buddha, which means awakened one.
It's easy to imagine the Buddha's enlightenment as something esoteric and special, but whenever we have experiences that point us toward our interconnection, we realize it for ourselves. When I think about my relationship with the Sangha, which is also a word for community, there have been so many of these moments of interconnection, memories that are filled with light.
For me, I think of our practice of metta, or sending loving kindness to ourselves, to our community, and ultimately to everyone in the entire world. It's an image filled with light, which, your heart is emanating light, you're receiving light from the world, and it is really beautiful.
For me, I think of the light of the bonfire. Sometimes we'll have a fire at our retreats, and we'll have Buddhist chanting as well as improvised rhythms and music, and just a general lovely sense of connection through sound.
Yeah, each semester the Sangha hosts a weekend-long retreat, which is always open to the whole Tufts community. This semester we drove to a meditation center up in New Hampshire. It was beautiful. There were mountains. The leaves were just turning yellow. And we meditated together. We walked together. We ate amazing food together. And some of my most meaningful memories from the semester are from that retreat.
Yeah, me too. One of my favorite memories from that was at around 2 a.m. once everyone was asleep and all the lights were off. We were just illuminated by only the bright stars.
Yeah, that was awesome. For me, I think my most memorable time at the retreat was actually chanting together the Kwanseum Bolsao, which is the Korean name for the Bodhisattva of compassion. A Bodhisattva is an enlightened being who leaves the stillness of meditation in order to save everyone who suffers. Kwanseum Bolsao literally translates to perceive world sound, Bodhisattva.
And this figure inspires us to hear the cries of everyone in the world and reach out with compassion as best we can. This is enlightenment. This is what brings peace and light to the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. We are Wuzi, and I'm Emma. I'm speaking on behalf of Carrie, who is currently taking her final exam right now, and we wish her good luck. So today we are doing a round fan dance called In the Painting of Jiangnan. As the name of this dance suggests, getting into the painting of Jiangnan, we will travel back in the history and capture the charms of this place. And for me, this is my favorite dance, and I hope everyone will enjoy it. Thank you.
我有一段情如花后归旧梦故里，我有一段爱落款上将前世印记，一程天晴，一程雨，引我入戏，平添着醉意，与愿一抹相映，酌一杯飘逸。火浪将埋身淹没了马蹄，谁家两人又来还你？我有一段情如花后归旧梦故里，
evening, everyone. My name is Julia, and I'm here representing Tufts Hillel and also Coffee, which is the Interfaith student group here at Tufts. And I'm here to talk a little bit about the story of Hanukkah. There are a lot of different ways to tell a story. And it might seem at first glance that the story of Hanukkah is a story about a military victory. Essentially, the Greeks invade ancient Israel, destroy their temple, and subjugate their people before being driven out by a small guerrilla force. And it might seem natural to celebrate it as a military holiday, but that's not actually how we celebrate it. According to the Hanukkah story, when the Jews returned to the temple, they found that there was only one small bottle of the oil that they needed to rekindle the sacred fire, the ner tamid, that always needs to be lit. And miraculously, that bottle of oil lasted for 8 nights, long enough for them to make more. But that miracle, the miracle that's thought of as the central point of the story of Hanukkah, isn't really featured in contemporary accounts. To understand how the Hanukkah story came to be understood, we have to talk a little bit about history. And in the first century, there's this group of rabbis, Jewish teachers, living in Babylon. They'd been driven out of the land of Israel by Rome, and they were now trying to figure out how to live Jewish lives without the temple, which had previously been sort of the center of all Jewish life and practice. And so they're looking at this story of military victory immediately after having suffered a really gruesome defeat. And they've seen war and they've been horrified by it, and they don't have interest in glorifying it. So they focus on a new part of the story. And the story that they write down is about light. It's about warmth and hope, and a miracle that illuminates darkness. When I was in high school, I worked at my synagogue's library, which will not be a surprise to you if you know me. And I would say that maybe 75% of the picture books that we had in the library were about Hanukkah. And Hanukkah is not like the most important Jewish holiday religiously, but it definitely has a big cultural impact. And there are a lot of reasons why that's true. But I think that a really central one comes from the way that we frame it. Personally, my favorite Hanukkah picture book is called Herschel and the Hanukkah Goblins. And it's about this guy, Herschel of Ostropol, who's a trickster figure in a lot of Jewish literature. And every night of Hanukkah, Herschel lights the menorah and celebrates Hanukkah, but he's confronted by these goblins who hate Hanukkah, and they try to blow them out. But he tricks them into celebrating alongside him. And that story encapsulates what I think is the draw of Hanukkah books and the Hanukkah story, that they're at their heart stories about the persistence of light. And although Hanukkah doesn't start for a little bit over a week, I'm going to light one candle the way that we do on the first night of Hanukkah, just without the blessing. Traditionally, one candle is added to the menorah every night of Hanukkah, and so that at the end, the menorah stands as this symbol of the eternal power of light.
Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to join this wonderful event tonight. I will present a Lakshmi Stotra through Kathak, an Indian classical dance form originating in northern India. Mantras and stotras are words that hold the power to invoke clarity and positivity in one's life. The stotra I'll be performing tonight honors Goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. Lakshmi is integral to many South Asian communities and to this event's multi-faith narrative of peace and light. During Diwali, the festival of lights, people light diyas, which are small oil lamps made of clay, which represent the conquering of good over evil. The lamps are left lit throughout the night as people cleanse their homes in order to welcome Lakshmi. The light from these diyas help Goddess Lakshmi find people's homes so that she may visit them and bless them. I mentioned earlier that Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth. And this means that she is a symbol of wealth in all its forms. Wealth comes in many ways, not just the monetary wealth that we might think of. Goddess Lakshmi represents wealth of knowledge, wealth of courage, wealth of victory, and other ways that wealth manifests itself in our lives. This stotra was choreographed by my guru, my Kathak teacher, Barkha Patel. The music was composed by Kedar Pandit and the lyrics by Sailesh Kulkarni. I am excited to share my version of peace and light with you tonight. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Preetha, for lighting our diya tonight.
सुमनसवन्दित सुन्दरि माधवी चन्द्र सहोदरि हे ममये मुनिगणवन्दित मोक्षप्रदायिनि मञ्जुलभाषिणि वेदनुते पङ्कजवासिनि देवसुपूजित सद्गुणवर्षिणि शान्तियुते जय जय हे मधुसूदन कामिनि आदिलक्ष्मि परिपालय माम् आदिलक्ष्मि परिपालय माम् ऐकलिकल्मष नाशिनि कामिनि वैदिकरूपिणि वेदमये क्षीरसमुद्भव मङ्गलरूपिणि मन्त्रनिवासिनि मन्त्रनुते मङ्गलदायिनि अम्बुजवासिनि देवगणाश्रितपादयुते जय जय हे मधुसूदन कामिनि धान्यलक्ष्मि परिपालय माम् धान्यलक्ष्मि परिपालय माम् धिमि धिमि धिम धिमि धिम धिमि धिम धिमि दुन्दुभिनाद सुपूर्णमये घुम 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 शङ्खनिनाद सुवाद्यनुते सुपूजित वैदिक मार्ग प्रदर्शयुते जय जय हे मधुसूदन कामिनी धनलक्ष्मी पालय मां धनलक्ष्मी पालय मां महालक्ष्मी पालय मां महालक्ष्मी पालय मां महालक्ष्मी पालय मां
Hello, my name is Sam, and I'm representing the Protestant Student Association. When I was 4 years old, I walked into Sunday school one morning to find that the candles we lit every day were no taller than my tiny thumb. Our teacher explained to us that every time we lit those candles, the wax melted away and they got shorter and shorter. Next week, she said she would try and find us some new candles, but for now, we would have to make do with these little stubs and the tiny flickering flames they produced. My best friend at the time, a little boy named Julian, raised his hand. "It's okay, Miss Alandia," he said. "We can squint. Lights look bigger when you squint." For the rest of that lesson, I squinted at those candles, marveling at how they really did look bigger when I did. A few weeks later, I saw Julian outside of church for the first time. Our church had organized a protest against the Iraq War, and both of us had been dragged by our respective mothers to stand in the town square and wave signs we couldn't read at all the cars that passed by. It was late afternoon in the winter, the sun was setting. Julian and I quickly got cold and cranky, so we broke off from the group and chased each other up and down the sidewalk. I didn't fully understand what we were protesting against as a 4-year-old who'd never seen anything outside of my safe life in Massachusetts. I certainly didn't grasp the concept of war, but I did understand peace. Peace, as I knew then and know now, is when it's cold outside, but you have a nice warm coat, and you and your best friend can run off down the sidewalk without fear, jumping from streetlight to streetlight. When I was first asked to think about stories from my life related to peace and light, those two moments immediately jumped into my mind. I didn't understand why. Of all of the things that I've done in my life, why should two scenes from 15 years ago involving a boy I haven't seen since kindergarten be the first things I think of? But it's the little moments in our childhoods that shape the big decisions we make as adults, and those two moments taught me two very important things. First, that taking action is an integral part of my duty as a Christian. When we pray the Lord's Prayer, we say, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven." That doesn't mean that we're supposed to spend our lives quietly waiting and hoping that we're worthy enough to experience God's perfect kingdom when we die. It means that we should work to bring it about here, in this messy, imperfect, beautiful world that we've been given. And the second is that when you're surrounded by darkness with only a pinprick of light in the distance, all you can do is walk towards it and squint. Tonight, I will be lighting the Advent candles. In the weeks leading up to Christmas, as the days get shorter and shorter, we light the candles of hope, peace, joy, and love to shine in the darkening days. Tonight, I will be lighting the candles of hope and peace.
The event is not ending. Just half of you are going to sing. Good evening, all. I'm Elise. I'm the University Chaplain, and I am loving the creative energy of this night. Stories of peace and light make meaning of our lives. They bind us together for good. And they call us, this diverse tapestry of people and practices and belief and tradition, to also act, to do justice and love kindness, to love our neighbors, to desire that all beings are free from suffering, to repair and renew the world. Our stories have power because they can liberate us as we share them in the here and now. Tonight, we welcome the Tufts Chamber Singers and Concert Choir to share an amazing piece entitled Breathe in Hope. It has a heart-rending story to tell. In the wake of murders by police of Philando Castile and Alton Sterling, Maya Jackson wrote 2 Facebook posts that so inspired composer Dale Trombone that she asked for and received permission to set Jackson's words to music, which are printed in your program insert. Jackson writes, "I know we must not live in darkness. We find the light." But her plea is that we don't escape too soon. She says, "I hope this pain lasts. I hope it holds." What she's suggesting, I think, is that we have to stand in compassion and solidarity amidst the distress of violence and hatred that we know exists, that we together feel it and grow from it. At this very moment, in this sanctuary, on this campus, among our friends and families throughout the world, there is pain. And we can hold it together. I invite you in this moment to call to mind people, communities, countries that are suffering, experiencing the unbearable weight of oppression of any kind. Hold them in your hearts. May we have the courage to dwell with them and breathe in hope.
What would we But I feel Thank you so much for that moving music. My name is Preeta Banerjee. I'm the Hindu chaplain at Tufts. And thank you for that ability to embody through sound and all of our senses. This is a moment of reflection before we move on to our next amazing performance. And I wonder if you might take 3 deep breaths with me to reflect on what has been, what is in you present and will come, and finding your feet on the ground, your spine straight, hips, shoulders, ears aligned. Breathing in deeply. What is peace? Holding that deep breath at full and letting it go gently. Holding it empty and taking our second deep breath together from your feet into your belly. What is light? Holding that deep breath in and then letting it go gently. And as we breathe our final 3rd breath in together, breathing in the peace and light that will take us forward. What does that look like for you? What is the quality of your breath? I wish you full breaths as you release and exhale. And now I'd like to introduce the Fletcher students from the Asian Society to present you with a semi-traditional Burmese dance. The performance is about paying homage to the Buddha with lights and is performed to celebrate in Myanmar during the month of October and November at the end of Buddhist Lent. This performance is also known as Si Mi Kwet, which are oil lamps. And we've replaced those oil lamps with electric candles for safety concerns tonight. I'd like to introduce May to give you a little bit more detail.
Thank you, Preeta. Hi, my name is May, and I'm joined by Mo, Rosie, and Sean, and we are the graduate students at the Fletcher School. And we'll be performing Boda Buzania, the song by singer Chen Chen, and we will use the lights in each of our hands to celebrate Buddhism and Burmese culture. We hope you enjoy it.
Greetings all. Did everybody have a good time? Thumbs up if you did. Claps. Woo. Beautiful, amazing. Well, it's my utmost pleasure, but sadness to tell you that the news, our night is almost at its end. My name is Joseph Lim, a senior and an Interfaith Ambassador for the Chaplaincy, here before you today to impart you with final words and a story before sending you back home. Today we have heard many stories of great faith traditions: Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, Jainism, humanism. We have immersed ourselves in beautiful dances and powerful music, and in a few moments we'll be immersing ourselves in the food waiting outside for us. It felt like a minute ago to simply enter this space, an hour ago to start preparing for this event with my fellow Interfaith Ambassadors, a day ago to begin this year, all in the blink of an eye, and the end of another year is approaching yet again. And when Christmas approaches, I'm led to ponder about how many things throughout this year happened as I had planned. Very little. The stories that my fellow brothers and sisters in faith told you throughout this evening revealed the peace and light, Pax et Lux, that clothed them and their communities with beautiful meaning and joy amid the paradoxes of this confusing mess of life. Tonight, I'd like to share a small poem about life and hope I've come to find in Christ Jesus, whose story I and many Christians have come to realize is as radically paradoxical as life itself. The creator of the universe, who stripped honors and glory to be born as an uninvited, weak baby in a manger. A king who got down on his knees to wash the feet of his disciples, saying that in his kingdom, he came to serve and not be served. A savior who saved the oppressed not by sword or military might, but by willingly dying for them on a cross. A friend who calls us to trust in and live out his life of radical love to our neighbors. A person whose story is retold every year as Christmas approaches, a song of peace and light that leads me to ponder and reflect on what a 2,000-year-old story means for my life and others. As we reflect on such stories that guide us, our unique sources of peace and light within us, I pray that they glow ever more brightly within us, as all of us, as time passes by, and strengthens you as you return back to live out your special story throughout your day-to-day lives. And at last, I wish to invite you to sing about your spiritual candlelights through a song called This Little Light of Mine, and my fellow musicians, MK, Mabel, Miles, and is there someone else I missed? Oh, Sam as well. All right, with that. Now, most of you would have received candles. Do you have candles in your hands right now? Awesome. This is the time when you're going to use them. All right, band, are we prepared? Good, good, okay. Oh, you don't have to. No, no, no. You can just put the hands. Woo! All right, I invite you all to stand up and let's sing a song together. Yeah, we're good. The lyrics of the songs are in the bulletins that you've received, and so it's called This Little Light of Mine. All right? Let's give a round of applause to all the performers and to the band as well.